Anonymous is a series of relationships. Hundreds and hundreds of people who are very active in it and who have varying skill sets and who have varying issues they want to advance and who are collaborating in different ways each day. Barrett Brown, I'm the director of Project PM and former operative with Anonymous. We were targeting furries, which is a subculture of people, of course, who, a lot of people unfortunately find irritating by virtue of their being irritating. A furry is someone, generally a male who's autistic in his 20s, who identifies with animals and oftentimes has sexual attraction to other people dressed as animals. There's diaper furs, furs who enjoyed wearing diapers, baby furs who enjoyed thinking themselves as a baby. We had furry infiltrators, people trying, we had secret groups. Mine was called the Illuminati /I/Illuminati, and we were, our goal was to wreak as much havoc as possible because it was stupid. There's a point, when I was, otherwise, seemingly respectable writer, 2007. My first book had come out like that, but I spent my evenings on Second Life, that big, virtual world, riding around in a virtual spaceship with the words "faggery daggery do" written on it, wearing afros and dropping virtual bombs on little villages at concerts and waving giant penises around. And that was the most fun time I've ever had in my life. It's like Freemasons with a sense of humor. And so much as they have this common symbology, and one of their chief joys, which is kind of wrapped up in power and secrecy, was the fact that they could recognize each other by referencing these symbols, referencing these phrases. Over 9,000.
It's over 9,000!
I lost my iPod. Mudkips, anything involving mudkips. So you have this weird sort of international culture developing with people, across the world, wherever they may be.
No, you changed the subject again.
Wait a second, you asked
Hal Turner
me...
wasn't the first, actual person that, Anonymous had caused trouble for, but the circumstances ended up being significant. They DDoS'd his website, stuff like that, costing him thousands of dollars, bandwidth fees. Obviously, him being an FBI informant, and also his reaction, his sort of douchebaggy reaction to the raids, damaged his credibility within the white nationalist scene, which is a shame.
Hal Turner's gone. He's been prosecuted by the feds for threatening judges.
It wasn't supposed to be different, but it ended up being different. People who observe Anonymous see this group called Anonymous going after this white nationalist and say, oh, hey, look, Anonymous must be some kind of activist organization. So by virtue of those people joining Anonymous, Anonymous becomes more of an activist organization. What follows is a period of confusion and anger in which, the original Anonymous people, the sort who want to keep Anonymous as this nihilist little, ridiculous group, are upset that now, that the most terrible thing on the internet is now becoming a force for good all of a sudden. Anonymous began to become less of just a culture, people who wanted to perform pranks, and more of the internet's first army. What these people did, in this case, these Greg Hausch and these other people, was they decided, we can probably harness Anonymous in this case and target Scientology.
If you're not out there making epileptics have seizures, then you're doing it wrong. So you're a moral fag.
Which is what I am, a moral fag. Those who want to use Anonymous as, as a tool for good in some sense, rather than just doing what we used to do, which is distribute video games. Operation Titstorm. Australia over the past couple of years has been relatively malignant in their attitude towards internet freedom compared to other Western countries. A guy named Tux wanted to attack the Australian government in retaliation for upcoming internet censorship laws. And one of them involved banning pornography with women with small breasts for some reason. So that was the first time that Anonymous went up against the government. When they DDoS'd and took down several government sites, it was the first time that Anonymous was going up against a state.
The FBI is now investigating Anonymous, a loose collection of rogue, tech-savvy hackers credited with bringing down the websites of MasterCard and Visa last December.
So there were 40 raids back then. They seized computers, cell phones, those kind of technical apparatus, sometimes including in the case of, a 19-year-old girl lived with her family, they took her parents' stuff too. There's always been a sort of cat and mouse dynamic, not just in relation to the feds, but also to these sort of groups that have appointed themselves as guardians of the Republic, and there's groups called Backtrace Security, which is made up of a couple of deranged people who, I think for personal reasons, have grievances against Anonymous.
I've been threatened by people who are former Secret Service agents who now run private security companies.
Suddenly, on February 5th, a Financial Times article comes out that we all see. It's quoting this guy named Aaron Barr, who's the CEO of HP Gary Federal, which is an intelligence contractor. And Aaron Barr is telling his Financial Times journalist, Joseph Min, that he's been secretly monitoring the AnonOps server where all this is going on, and has done so for several weeks, and using his own custom brand of information operations techniques, has managed to identify the alleged leadership of Anonymous, including 25, quote, lieutenants, unquote, some sort.
We have to see this document. Everyone wants to know. We don't need to destroy him. We don't need to destroy his company. We just need to see the document, and we'll decide what comes next after looking at the document. So they get it. It was unbelievably easy to get into that network.
And my name was on there as a screen name, and Greg Hausch was listed there by a screen name. The fact of the matter is, what he told Financial Times was, everything he told them was demonstrably untrue, and very much hilariously so. As Julian Assange had a few months before noted that they had information on a major bank showing wrongdoing, and Bank of America somehow knew it was them. And the proposals involved for Bank of America and the WikiLeaks problem, they entailed conducting information war on WikiLeaks and its supporters, creating dissension within WikiLeaks, DDoS attacks. Some of the most important things that have had the most far-reaching influence and have been the most important in terms of what's been discovered, not just by Anonymous, but by the media in the aftermath, is the result of hacking. That information can't be obtained by the traditional journalistic process, or it can't be obtained or won't be obtained by a congressional committee or a federal oversight committee. For the most part, that information has to be, obtained by hackers. Well, LulzSec, it's sort of a group of a couple people, mostly from Anonymous, who, in large part, were the same people who hacked HP Gary. And they decided to form this little group and just carry on operations sort of outside the purview of Anonymous for a while.